Today we are building an AI resume screening agent, and I'm particularly excited about this one because I have massive respect for them working in the HR department. Between sourcing for new recruits, managing different stages of interviews, the amount of resumes you have to scan through, ensuring a safe and cordial relationship between staff members, and let's be honest, they are usually the first and the most likely to receive the hits when things are not going on well, either from senior level executives or from staff members. It's a whole lot of pressure for any one person to handle. And yes, I know, we pride ourselves on our ability to handle pressure. But at the end of the day, we are still humans. There comes a point where pressure starts to become toxic. And toxicity is an energy that has to move somewhere, right? And that's how we see how toxicity trickles down to either becoming hostile to staff members or even worse still, you carry the energy home. And this is why I'm big on systems, because I truly believe the best of humanity happens when we create systems that strengthens our weaknesses, thus creating the leverage for us to step into our true brilliance. So what if I told you I could help you create a system for those working in the HR recruitment agency that allows you to analyze each job submission, go through the resume, and then figure out who your top candidates are, gives them a rated score, but we don't just stop there. It provides a justification for why that candidate is actually a top candidate, so they are not going to the interview blind. And now you can argue that yes, the applicant tracking software for this, which are going to be right, but again, at what cost? A lot of them are expensive, but this is a cheaper alternative that still gets the job done in terms of analyzing each resume. Wouldn't that be worth a trial? But again, let's see the live build from scratch to finish here. So again, we are building a resume screening agent that's be able to analyze, different resumes and give a rated score, provide justifications and provide classifications of each particular candidate. And the idea is that we want that at the end of the whole process, we just have a short list of candidates, or we have like a database where each candidate has already been assessed and classified, right? Whether is this an exact match, is this person highly qualified, is this person, potentially a match? Is this person not qualified and all like that? And yeah, but a mistake I used to make before, right? Because the idea of this page is to like, share my own experiences in hopes that someone learns better from that. The mistake I used to make before was I used to think that you start with the tech first, right? You start with going into the automation first. You start with moving into anything first to start the build. But again, it's a very wrong approach. And it's wrong in the sense that it doesn't really allow you appreciate the beauty of the process. In anything in life, the beauty usually is in the process. Yes, the process can be painful, the process can be slow, but the beauty is in the process. So I preach heavily on logic mapping, process mapping, because it just goes to show you, okay, what are the processes involved in building this automation? If you start with automation first, if you start with tech first, usually you're going in blind, and you don't want to go in blind into anything you're building, right? You want to have all of the information, you want to have like what are the potential areas that might have challenges, what are the gray areas that probably need to exercise caution on, things like that. So again, what is the process mapping involved in building this particular automation? So let's look at, what are the processes involved, for a typical HR, right? I mean, again, there are very sophisticated systems for this, but just like a typical, just a common use case, people submit a form, and if they submit that form, that can be probably submit their resume rather. You can submit their resume through a form, you can submit through an email, and then once that is submitted, probably uploaded into a database, right? Because you don't want to lose those resumes. And then periodically, depending on the volume of that data, there's someone that analyzes that resume, then or probably just something that analyzes that resume, right? And then once the analysis is done, they provide, okay, this person is a match, and we move into the interview stage. This person is not a match, is just going to move to the interview stage and things like that. What does that look like? So I did just a flow, a simple flow here for this. Again, which is what I said, right? So the first process begins with a submission. At least for us to analyze a particular candidate, for us to even have an idea that this candidate exists or this applicant exists, that person needs to apply, right? And then you're applying, let me just zoom in a bit. So you're applying either to submit through again a form, and you're not submitting through a form, you're submitting through an email. And the idea behind doing this is just like show how my mind works when building automation, right? Okay. How does my mind work when I'm building something, right? So again, after you submitted the form, which is what we do, either you submit a form where you put in, okay, this is your name, this is what I'm applying for, this is my resume, or you're doing that through an email. And again, so all of that resume or your CV goes into a database that is stored there, and then it's going for a review. Now, the person that is reviewing that particular CV or that particular resume would have to have an idea of what the job posting is. So for instance, now I want to apply for the role of an accountant, or let's say I want to apply for the role of social media manager, right? I mean, so the HR would know, okay, say for the role, this social media manager role, the prerequisite for the role is, okay, see, you must have about 3 years experience in handling social media pages. You must have built your own personal brand to a certain number of followers. Those are the requirements that the HR would know, and that's what the HR is going to use to analyze each particular resume, each particular CV. So again, that's the idea behind this. Okay, see, for us to review, at least we need to know what are the prerequisites, what are the qualifications, what are the requirements. So we analyze that against each person's submission. And then, so once you are done analyzing, okay, okay, this person, this is why this person fits is a good fit for us. We put that into a database again, so we know, okay, see, out of like 100 applicants, these are like, the maybe the top 10 are going to move into the interview stage, right? So we store all of those data in a database, and then after database, we then proceed with the interview, right? Now, this is what a manual, again, just a very common, use case here. Just we're not moving something very sophisticated, because again, there are software systems for this. But again, just the usual, common use cases. This is the process involved. Now, so once I'm done mapping it like this, okay, I know that, okay, see, the process just becomes very, very clear, such that even if I don't have a technical background, just by looking at this, I know what I need to automate, right? I know that, okay, see, when I'm moving to my, so I use anything to as my automation tool for the most part. I then know that, okay, so once I'm moving to anything, right, a trigger has to start. I mean, my trigger has to be either be a form submission or a Gmail node. It just comes very easy for me like this, because I don't need to like guess, okay, what do I need, what do I need, what do I need, what do I need next after this. I then know that, okay, so once I have my trigger, I then need to like probably use a database. So database could be Google Drive, any database you're kind of familiar with. Again, which is what I did here. So you look at it now. So the trigger now, once I'm moving to my automations, which is anything now, I know, okay, either the trigger starts with either an form submission or a Gmail trigger, and it then proceeds to, I mean, I'm going to use a Google Drive for this, right? So that's what I like to like. If I'm storing this type of data. So each of those resumes are going to be stored in a Google Drive. Now, once that's been stored in a Google Drive, now for this review process here, right? The only node that makes sense to do that is an AI agent. Now you can say, okay, so for AI integration, we have an AI agent, you have the basic LLM chain. Why am I choosing to use an AI agent? It is because I want the AI agent to be able to, okay, number one, analyze. And once it is done analyzing, so it's going to analyze each submission, again, just like we have here, where the HR is going to review each submission with the knowledge of what the job posting entails, right? It's the same way. I'm going to use an AI agent because number one, I want the AI agent to number one, analyze each submission using a knowledge base, right? So I need to connect it with a tool, and that will be a knowledge base. That knowledge base will have an idea of what the current posting is. Say, for instance, a software developer wants to apply, right? So let's say software developer has 5 years experience with this or that or that or that. Now, the AI agent needs to analyze that. But for the AI agent to analyze correctly, depending or the AI agent to analyze correctly using the company's protocol, it needs to know what the company's requirement for software developer is, right? So is the company requiring a software developer with at least 5 years experience? Is the company requiring a software developer with like some particular programming, some specific programming language skills, right? So the AI needs to have access to a tool, which will be a knowledge base that's going to be used to analyze each submission. Now, once the AI is done analyzing that too, it then needs to also like append all this. Once it's done with its analysis, with its analysis rather, it's going to like append all of those information or populate all of this information into a database similar to what we have here, right? So basically, I've just replicated this whole manual process, as an automated system. And again, so if you do things like this, you just find that building becomes easier. Yes, there's a lot of challenges in building automations. I'm not going to hide that fact from anybody. But again, since you know that, I mean, you are going to face challenges, at least make the journey much more smoother for you, right? So, I mean, knowing this now, I know what I'm going to go and do it to anything. So, we're then going to anything now. So this is what the blank. This is just called this is a blank canvas in anything. Like I mentioned, anytime is automation tool are going to use, it enables us to connect different apps, to create systems that basically automate different processes. So again, just like I had there, so we need a form. I'm choosing to use a form submission, right? So I just go and search for what this is a form submission, which will be the trigger for this automation. Now, so let's say you're applying to let's give the form title. Let's say tomorrow. Okay. Submit. So this is the form sub description is just okay. What's like applicants going to see that is the form going to be about basically. So submit your applications here. Okay, let me use the more experience. I love that name. Okay. So now the form elements are like, what are the details, each applicant is going to fill in that form. So I'm going to require like at least the full name, which is going to be a text, and of course it has to be required, right? The full name, you have to fill in your full name. So when you fill in your full name, we also need you to, so what role are you applying for, right? What role are you applying for? And then instead of a text, I'd like for this to be a drop down. So I prepared some job postings already, right? So we have the software engineer, we have data scientists, which are the ones I'm going to be using here too. So we have software engineer, we have data scientist, okay, then we have project manager, UX designer. Okay. And then I think that's all. Okay, so we have DevOps engineer. I think that's the last one. DevOps engineer. So what I'm trying to do basically here is I'm trying to create, once in the form, once anyone wants to come and fill in that form, once they fill in, okay, this is my full name, they need to be able to choose what role they're applying for, right? So since the job posting, this is what is currently available in the company, right? The role for a DevOps engineer, UX designer, data scientist. I'm trying to also create a form that allows or that contains all those roles. So I prefer to use a drop down. I'm going to show you shortly once I execute it what the that drop down looks like. So we're going to add, the element for them to submit their CV. So uh, submit CV. So that will be we're going to use a file. Now all of these are all required. So the submit CV field is required. You need to submit your CV. The okay, let me make this also required. The role you're applying for is also required. You need to like let us know what role you're applying for, and then your full name is also required, right? So if I okay, just one more thing. My experience. Okay, sorry. This was a mistake. Okay, so if I execute the step now, so now you can see now. So for the full name here, let us use John Doe. John Doe, and I can see this is what the drop down looks like. You can see we have all these options now. So let's say I want to apply for the role of a software engineer. I'm clicking software engineer, and I did ask ChatGPT to provide like a sample CV for me, which is what I'm going to select now. So okay. So now we've finally submitted, which is what the applicants are also going to be doing now. They submitted their CV and their entry for this particular role. So this person John Doe is applying for the role of a software engineer, and just like what I had there. Now after, so I've opted to use an unformed submission. Now once I've submitted my form, what do I need to do next, right? I need to like upload it in a database somewhere so I have access to it and whenever I want to use it again, right? So that's the next thing I need to do. So once I've submitted it from the form, we go to a Google Drive. So I'm choosing to use a Google Drive, right? And this is what the Google Drive looks like. So I want to upload the file into Google Drive. So once they submit, as they're submitting like this, their CV is being uploaded into the Google Drive. That's what I'm trying to do. So I just created a Google Drive folder called resume, such that as each applicant is submitting the form, immediately their resume is being stored into this Google Drive folder. So I need to upload. I'm not downloading. I need to upload. As they are submitting, as they click on submit that form, that resume is being uploaded into Google Drive. And again, once you understand, again, always logic first. Once you understand the logic, the build becomes easier. So now look at the option here. The option I'm choosing here is, let me just zoom in a bit. I'm choosing upload. Again, why am I choosing upload? Because I want, just as you can see as I submitted here now, I'm going to see how I'm going to populate this such that as you are submitting, your application or your entry, your resume is being uploaded into Google Drive, right? So the resource is a file. The resource is a file. And so here you can see now a lot of people make mistake in this particular area. Now you can see this place where they put input data field name. Now data field name is this. The default here is data because usually most times the once you submit a binary file, mind you, this is a binary file, right? Once you see anything like this, it's not like a JSON data. You can literally that's what you're seeing, a binary. If you don't understand what binary is, I highly advise go back and watch my very first video on data types. I go into detail to explain what all of these data types are. So this is a binary data. Now for most binary data in n8n, the default name is always data. But here now you can see the default name here is submit CV. If I choose to use this like this, this automation is not going to run. But I want to see that in real time, right? So the file name now, so that's the input data field name. Now, the input data field name is different from the file name. Let me show you the file name. Now, you can actually see the file name is what we have here. File name is John Doe. This is the file name. So what I need to do here is to just map the file name into this particular region, right? And then now I need to select, what folder I want to upload it into. So what I want to do here. So the resume. And yeah, you need to actually connect your Google Drive credential. Connect your Google Drive credential. You can actually check the documentation to know how you connect that. Not be covering that in this video. So once you connect your Google Drive credential, that's how I'm able to select this particular folder, the resume folder. And so let's see. I told you that I'm not changing this. You see that as I do not change this is what the automation is not going to run, right? Because the input data field name is submit CV, but the default is data. Let's see what happens. You can see now the item has no binary field data. And it's usually these little details, right? These little knowledge that makes the difference in whether you're going to be frustrated or spend like hours debugging workflows. Once you understand like what does each particular field, what does it mean? It just makes building a lot more easier for you, right? So now again, these things are very, very specific. I have to use the exact thing that is here. So I'm not going to click on copy and then I'll paste that, right? And then when I execute now, so you can see now it has been uploaded into my Google Drive. And if I go back and check this folder, you can see now we have the particular entry, John Doe, entry. Now, the flow is once I submitted the form, I wanted the CV to be uploaded into my Google Drive, right? But now this CV that I uploaded into Google Drive is not yet within n8n. The flow is, look at here, the flow is number one, people are going to submit their forms, their resume, submit their application. Now as they submit, immediately as they submit, the flow again, just the logic matters, right? The build follows the logic. Now as you submit the form, they are going to upload the resume immediately into Google Drive. That means that the resume is not yet within n8n. Although I'm using n8n to build this, but this and you are saying that okay, this is an unformed submission, this is the upload file function, but I need to download the file into n8n, right? And you might be asking, okay, why do I need to download the file into n8n? I need to download it because don't forget the logic is that I need to perform an analysis, I need to perform a review, which is what I had the logic here. Once people submit, they submit the application, the data or the resume is going to be uploaded into a database which I'm using Google Drive for. And once it has been uploaded, we then need to review. Now, for us to review the file, we need to actually have the file, right?
No, but now we don't even have the file yet because the file has been uploaded into Google Drive. So I need to download the file back now from the Google Drive into n8n. What I need to do is just again search for Google Drive and look for the download. So this is the download file option. And again, you connect your credential, right? You connect your credential, and the resource is also a file. What am I looking to do? I need to download. So the operation is download. Unlike the first instance where I'm submitting a form, let me first upload it into a database. Now, once I've uploaded into a database, I need to review, right? But here, I need to first download the file. Again, why do I need to download the file? I need to download the file because I need to perform an analysis on that file, right? So for me to review something, I need to have that thing. This is what I'm trying to do here. I'm to make sure like we are all understanding this. No matter we're submitting the form. Now after we're done submitting the form, I need to like make people like once you submit the form, their resume or their CV is being uploaded directly into a database so that we do not lose it, right? So the company does not lose it, right? Now once I've uploaded into that Google Drive, I need to now download it into n8n. Again, why do I need to download this? I want to download it because I need an AI agent to perform an analysis on it. So that's why I'm using this download file function. Now you can see what I have here now. So I'm going to select the file. Usually asking, okay, see, these are the list of possible files we have, the list of possible files we have within my Google Drive data, right? But I want this particular file to be downloaded. You can see it has actually showed you. So you can see this upload file function. This is the upload file node. Now in the upload file node, you can see that this is the ID of the file I just uploaded, right? The name of the file, don't forget that the name of that file was John Doe this, right? It's a PDF file. Which you are seeing the MIME type is PDF. And again, this is if I want to view the file, I can just use this link to view the file. For now, for me to know what file I want to download into n8n, I don't want to use this from list. I want to download the file by ID. Why do I want to download it by ID? Let me show you why I want to download it by ID. Now, if I use this ID and I map this, so the mapping is just you dragging and then, literally just dropping it here, right? Now, what this means is that this is actually a dynamic expression, right? So I see here we have, let me zoom in a bit. Now you can see we have a fixed and dynamic expression. A fixed expression, like the name is literally self-revealing. Fixed is that the fixed and a fixed value does not change because it is fixed. But dynamic means it changes depending on that particular circumstance, right? In this particular circumstance, it is A, but next time it can be B, next time it can be C, which again, don't forget in this particular automation now, different people are going to submit different resumes. They're going to submit their different names, right? So I can't use a fixed value. I need to allow for a dynamic expression that, okay, see, no matter who is submitting a particular resume, I can access that CV or I can access that resume, within my n8n instance. So I'm going to retrieve that file by the ID. That's what I'm choosing to do. I want to be able to download the particular file that has been uploaded by the ID, right? Because the ID is very unique, right? So everyone might have the same name, right? But no two person has the same ID, just like our fingerprints. Yeah, our fingerprints are unique to us, right? So no two persons have the same fingerprints. Same way, and that's why you can use fingerprint to trace people, right? That's what I'm trying to do here too. I'm trying to use the ID to trace each particular CV that has been uploaded, right? This is the upload file node. So I'm trying to trace the file by the ID, but I can't use. You can see it is a fixed expression. I can't use a fixed value because different people are submitting. You can have like 100 people submitting. If I use a fixed value, it means for the 100 times this automation is going to run, it is only one. It is that fixed ID or that fixed file that is going to be downloaded, which I do not want because I want that each person is submitting a particular file, that file can be downloaded. That's why I'm choosing to use a dynamic expression. I usually you can see now it is in dynamic expression. And all I need to do here is to just map the ID. So I just drag the ID and I put it here. So in this particular instance now, the ID for this file belongs to John Doe that you are seeing. Let me just zoom in a bit. Now you can see in this particular instance, the ID of this file belongs to John Doe. But if in the next instance it belongs to, let's say, Jane Doe, it is the file of Jane Doe that's going to be downloaded. If the third time now the ID belongs to Thomas Shelby, it is Thomas Shelby's file ID that's going to be downloaded. If the fourth time it belongs to Kelvin Durant or any other person, It's the ID of that person that is going to be downloaded. How that it is the ID of that person that is going to be downloaded. So this is what a dynamic expression allows us to do, allows us to just create that room that we can run things independently of each other. That's what we're trying to do here. So that's why I'm using an ID and I'm using a dynamic expression. Now, if I execute this step now, you will see now we have the file within my n8n instance. Now I have the file within my n8n instance. So now, as I have the file, I want an AI agent to be able to analyze the file, right? But as of now, I don't maybe sometime in the future, right? Anything will give us an update where an AI agent can directly analyze a binary file. Don't forget I told you this is a binary file. It's not a JSON. It's not a text. It's a binary file. Binary files are non-text data, right? They're non-text data. Again, if you understand what a binary file is, binary data, what a JSON data means, I highly recommend you watching my first video. I'll provide the link, you need to just watch it. So watch it first and you understand what I'm talking about, right? Now, this binary file, an AI agent cannot access it yet, right? Because within this let me just show you what this data looks like, right? But do I have it here? Okay, so this is what my John Doe's resume looks like, right? Again, I just asked ChatGPT to just do this for me. Now, all of this, me as a human, between you and I, we can read this, right? Oh, this is person lives at this address, blah blah blah. So what I need to just is just open this file and then read all of these words. But an AI agent as of now cannot open binary files, right? That means I need to usually copy the content of this file and then give it to an AI agent, right? Because AI agents cannot open the file directly. This is a Word document file here, right? For humans, for us to be able to read or analyze this file, right? To look, okay, this person is a software engineer with 3 years of experience. I need to open the file up, right? Then I can read. But AI agent as of now, the AI agent's note cannot open the file directly. That means I need to provide a means that allow the AI agent at least have access to all of these words here for it to then perform its analysis. So what I need to just do here is to just use an extract from file node, right? Again, the logic precedes the build. The logic precedes the build. Always remember that the logic precedes, and it's not the build first, it's the logic first. What do I need to do as a human? Once I know what I need to do as a human, I then know what to automate, I then know what nodes to look for, right? Again, I mean, so far I think we all understand. Someone needs to submit a form. Now, once that person submits a form, that resume or that CV needs to be uploaded into a database, right? I'm using a Google Drive for that. Now, I've uploaded it from that submission. I'll provide the link now. Okay, click this link to submit your resume, submit or to enter into this program, right? Now, if you fill that form, the file goes directly into Google Drive. Now, from Google Drive, I need to download that file into my n8n instance where my AI agent is, right? That's why I'm using an n8n download file node here. Now, again, this is a binary file, right? It's like what I am having here. It's a document. But the AI agent in n8n cannot directly open a file. For we humans now, you can see, I try just open this file for me to be able to read all of these things. But AI agents cannot directly open it, right? So I need to just extract all of these words that I have here into the AI agent so that AI agent knows what it's going to analyze. So what I need to do now is to use the extract function, right? So you can say extract from file, and I'm using a PDF file. I'm using a PDF. I can see literally here, it has told you the MIME type is PDF. So I'm going to use the extract from PDF. Now, the input binary field, now it has changed to data. Initially it was submit CV, but here now you can see input binary field, the name is data, which is what I have the data. So now it's going to be executed successfully. If I execute that, now I can see. And let me now show you, you can see now, I've opened up this file and I've extracted all of those words, right? This node has enabled me to do that. Using this node now, I've been able to access or extract all of those words, which is all of these words here, right? I've extracted all of these words, which is what I'm having. You can see, let me use the table view. You'll be able to see it better. It's okay, you can see. So I've extracted all those content of that document into words. and then I can feed this word into my AI agent to perform the analysis on. You know, you can see all of this now. Let me zoom in. So I've analyzed, I've extracted all of those words. I can then feed this into my AI agent. So let me, so I'm going to choose an AI agent node, an AI agent node. Now again, the source for prompts is not a connected chat trigger, right? If you are new to building AI agent, the user message is just what you are typing into your AI agent, or where is the message coming from. Now the message is not coming from a chat trigger. This is what a chat trigger looks like. A chat trigger, this is what a chat trigger, this is a chat trigger, right? But this message is not coming from a chat trigger. The message is coming from this extract from file, right? That's where the text is coming from that the agent is going to analyze. So I can't use this connected chat trigger. I need to change it to, I need to define it myself. Okay, I'm going to define, where the prompt, where the user message is coming from. So I can just say, the text will be analyzed, should be analyzed. So I'm providing the agent enough context to just know what is what. So this is the text to be analyzed. Okay, this is the text to be analyzed, right? And then let's say role applied for. So I want the AI agent to know, okay, see, this is the submission to be analyzed, and this is what the role the person applied for. So I'll see that under the submission or form submission. So you can see this is so this person applied for a software engineer, right? So I need to just put that here to map that, right? And then I need to then provide the agents a system prompt. So I'm using a system message. And because of time, right? I can't be writing a new prompt. I already did one, which is I did it one here. So I'm just going to literally copy all of this and then paste it here. Right. But the idea for the prompt is I want the agent to be able to look at the current message that is coming in. So he looks at that, then let me first let's do it one after the other, right? So an AI agent leverages on an AI, an AI or the AI agent leverages on an LLM model. The LLM model is the brain, is the reasoning agent for the AI. We humans have a brain. That brain is usually actually a cognitive function, right? It enables us to think, enables us to ration things, enables us to basically do a lot of things. Same with an AI agent. An AI agent is useless without a brain. So this LLM model, this language model here is like the reasoning model, the brain for the AI agent. So I'm using an open router, right? Because it allows me to have access to different LLM models. That's why I'm using this. So I'm going to use GPT-4o, and now I need to connect my tools. Don't forget what I had here. Again, the logic precedes the build. Where for me to review, I need to know, okay, what is the requirements? What are the requirements for this particular role? So I know, okay, does this particular submission or does this particular applicant match the requirements, right? So I know I showed you these are the requirements for software, for different positions. So for different for the software engineer, this is the description of what we're looking for, and these are the necessary qualifications the person must have. For data scientists, these are the necessary qualifications the person must have for that person to be a good fit for this particular role. So I need to make the AI agents at least have access to that, right? So don't forget this since this is a Google Sheet, so I'm going to literally use Google Sheet notes too. So the Google Sheets, now I need to get rules, right? So getting rules means I need to allow the AI agent to be able to retrieve all of this information so that it can use to analyze each applicant's entry. So that's why I'm using the get rule here. Now I need to select, so I need to select the particular sheet I'm looking for, which is the job posting, right? Job postings, sheet one. Okay. And again, always rename your nodes, right? Renaming your nodes just allows you, it helps you make things very, very clear. So job Sorry, job posting. Come on, just trying to check something. Okay, so I'm going to just check the name of the tool. This because in my prompts I wanted to use the same name. So this is available job openings. Okay. So this is the available job openings is where the agent is going to come and retrieve like all of this, data here to use to analyze this particular entry. And then now the next tool is okay. So once it has done, once it is done analyzing, it needs to like put all of those information somewhere, right? That's basically so I use on that sheet. You can see I already created a sheet for that here where it can come and populate, so the candidate ID, full name, email, resume file, job ID, that, like that. So this is going to like populate all of those details. Once it is done analyzing, it's come and extract those details. Oh, this is an email. I didn't provide an email. Okay. I'm going to use an so there's an email field, but I didn't use an email in my form, but the agent should still be able to like retrieve that from the I think there's an email in the submission, the entries for the applicant submission. Let me check. There's an email. Okay, this is so it's able to do that. All right. So we are back. No, not Shopify. I think I made a mistake. Sorry, not Shopify. It's Sheets. Google Sheets rather. It's Google Sheets. So now we need to append. Well, we want to append a row. Now appending a row means you want to like just paste some information somewhere. So resume database is this one, and then the sheet is still sheet one. Okay, so all of this, right, you should want the agent to be able to like just fill it itself. So the agent should be able to like fill the time the entry is being submitted, the comments, the classification. I'm going to explain shortly, right? Classification, the job title, the job ID, the resume, okay, I'm coming, the email, the full name, the candidate ID. So I want the agent to be like able to do all of this itself. Now for this resume file, let me just look at what we have there. So I want a system where so once the agent is done analyzing different resumes, I want a system where the HR or the recruiter can just come and look at the database. They can look at just have a rich amount of information where the HR can look at, okay, this is this person's name, this person's email. Now the HR wants to like just look at, let's say the agent has given a good score that okay, so this person is rated is a good fit, right? He's a high match, highly qualified, and the person has given a score of 9. But let's say the HR wants to like just see for him or herself if the agent is still correct, or just probably probe further. I want to create a system where they can just click on a link and it just take them directly into the resume or into the CV. I don't want them to have to like go to the Google Drive and go and look for the resume, because there can actually be tons of resumes, tons of CV there. So that's why I'm creating this resume file column where okay, with just a click of a button, you can go directly into that resume or that CV and just look at okay, see, okay, this is why the agent gave 9. Okay, this person truly has this particular experience, because the agent will not just give a score, right? It's not to also classify. So if 9 is like, oh, is highly qualified, and this comment is like, okay, provide a justification why you give the person 9, why you give the person 4, provide a justification for us because we want to know, right? So that is what this comment is for, and that's the idea behind this creating this Google sheet like this. So for the resume file now, if you look at this particular link, that will be under, let me look at the upload. So look at this, usually this is like how you can access the what we have here, right? You can see the, let me zoom in a bit. Now this is like how you can, if you want to download the particular resume, this is like how you can download it. So you can see we have is beginning with literally from here to here we have literally we have this protocol here, then we have the domain, and then we have this ID, right? The ID is this, which is the same thing we have here too. The web view link is from HTTP to we have the drive and literally. So let's say if I do this, let's just quickly try something. Let's just quickly try something, right? So if I copy coming. So let me just copy to this point. I just want to be sure. So I copy to this point and I just do this. You can see. So me doing that literally like I can have access to the Google Drive folder. I try just press enter and it downloaded the file. So what I want to do, let me just what I want to do now is alright. Alright. So I want to copy this into here. Okay. So let's look at the web view link. I'm coming. Once I'm done, I'll then explain what I want to do. I want to save that the same. Alright. So now I tried the two links, right? So for the first link, one you can see when I pasted this into my folder, into my tab rather. For one link, it's downloaded the file directly, which is what we saw. And for the second link, it just allowed us view the file. Right, don't forget the logic is that I want that, okay, see, once the agent is done with its analysis, I want the HR the recruiter or the HR to also like just view the file from this Google Sheets directly. So I don't want them to download it again because already it has been downloaded. I want them to be able to like view it. So I was testing each link, right? I tested this link here is for me to download, right? Which is what you can see here. Export is download, and here you can see is to view. So I want to be able to use this link. Now, but if I copy all of this link directly, if I copy all of this link directly, let me show you. So coming. So this was the first one I copied rather. So let me delete this one. And then, so let me just do this. Copy, now paste. And then the ID. Okay. Um, so what I'm trying to do essentially is I'm trying to like, you can see what I have here. Look at this result here. This result is still similar to what I have in this my web view. This is my web view link where we have the same thing. So let me, can I can, let me also enlarge it. Okay. So let's just do a side by side comparison, right? What I have in this my web view link here, which is HTTP, this, this, all of this, right? All of this is this link here allows me be able to view the file, right? So the file, I mean, each file will always have this https drive.google.com file. Now this expression is the ID, such that each file definitely has an ID, right? So populating it like this allows us to be able to like, or the recruiter to be like, once the person clicks on that link, the person can directly access the file from their Google Sheet. The person will need to like go to the Google Drive to access it. Probably just does it to like once we test it out, you see it in real time. So in case you are confused now, just let's quickly test it out, then you see it in real time happening. So comments, let's say the justification. I'm also providing the agents more context, right? So the comment is justification for each score. For each one score. So the classification, so classify. So each I want you to be able to classify into like three or four categories, right? Classify strictly into so highly qualified, qualified and not qualified. So I want you to use to classify the category, and again, this is very customizable, right? But for me, I want you to use to classify each entry, right? In each applicant as okay, this person is highly qualified or qualified or not qualified, right? So that is what I want, and then I think we are good to go on this in this regard. So I just need to also check the name of the tool that I used in my prompts. So log resume details. So I just so same way we had to rename the tool, right? So we just know what is what. So I'm also going to rename the tool here. So log resume details, and then I think we should be good to go. Okay, so I want to provide the agents the context of what the time is, right? So you want to be able to know what the current date and time is. So current, and the expression for that is now. So this expression just allows the agent to know what the current date and time is, which is what you are seeing as the result, right? And then yeah, let's execute and see what that looks like. Okay, so it has run. Let's see. I can see. So initially it was empty, right? But now it has provided the candidate ID, and this was the name, and this is the John Doe, and you can see the person applied for software engineer, and so it gave this candidate a score of 10, which means the person is highly qualified. But let's say we do not trust this, right? Let's just say we want to test. So why did it give this applicant a score of 10? So let's see the reasoning. So the applicant John Doe is an excellent match for the software engineer position. He possesses a strong educational background, a bachelor's degree in computer science, which aligns perfectly with job requirements. Moreover, it's 3+ years of experience in developing and maintaining. So let's again let's be sure, right? So the qualification was at least a master's degree in data science, statistics, or related field. So did John have that? No. So John is an excellent match. So he possesses a in computer science, right? And we're looking for at least someone in data science, statistics, or a related field. Okay, so yes, at least that is. Let's even look at the resume directly. So it's like, oh, we're looking at what the agent is analyzing for us, right? Let's say we are doubting Thomas. I want to just be sure that this are actually really doing this. So yes, education is basic in computer science. Okay, so it checks that checks, and let's see what else we needed to know. So at least 2+ years of experience in data analysis or data science. Let's see what John has. So let's see John's professional experience. So software engineer, developed and maintained, blah, collaborated, blah, route train efficient, this, debug, blah, 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 and so professional summary, software engineer with 3+ years of experience. So you can see. So the job is the requirements was we needed at least 2+ years of experience. So John perfectly fits that, right? John has 3+years. So again, the agent is correct in providing why John is the right match for us. So let's see what else the agents had to say. So in developing, okay, 3 plus years of experience in developing and maintaining scalable web application using Python, Java, and JavaScript demonstrating in the required programming languages. So in our job description, we wanted some required. So you see, we wanted someone that was proficient in Python or R along with SQL. And John has okay, John has used Python, Java, and JavaScript. You know, so also has hands-on experience with React, Node.js, and Django. Again, you can see John again is fitting into what exactly we want, right? And again, this was like the first iteration of this particular agent, right? Usually we want to test it and make sure we're okay, everything is properly aligned, right? But at least but the very first try, this is very good for us. So you can see the agent is accurately so strong analytical, statistical, and problem solving skills. Does John have that? you know. So skilled in debugging, writing clean code, and optimizing system performance. Again, the agent is like picking these particular things and analyzing it correctly. And again, for it is the first iteration, right? Usually building, you test and test and test and test. You don't just test once, you test a lot. So yeah, this is a very good this is a very good analysis, right? And again, so this is what I wanted. So let's say I'm the recruiter. So once the whole process is done, I can just come and look at this. So here I can just look at everything at a glance, right? And this is what I was trying to explain earlier, where I wanted us to be able to like at least view. So I can just click on a link and I can just view directly the resume, right? Instead of me going to go and look at the resume in the Google Drive, I can see what I just did here now. I can see. With just a click, I cannot look at okay. I can also look at things for myself, right? I can say, okay, this, blah, blah, blah. And I can try to look at things for myself. So you can see why that is, why, I mean, that logic was essential here now. And yeah, so let's just use one more example. So we use one that has all of the fits. So I asked ChatGPT to like do use another person, create another CV that doesn't exactly fit into the required qualifications. So let's say this person is, let's say it's under John Doe, right? I think I already use under John Doe for that particular one too. So software engineer. So this person doesn't exactly fit. Can see John Doe 30% fit. And let's see whether the agent would, let's see what the scoring and the rationale is going to be for that. So we submitted the form, it's uploading to Google Drive, it's downloading it, now it is analyzing. It is not analyzing now. Now it wants to like append it into the Google Sheets back. So let's see let's wait for that. She's currently doing that and now it is done. And yeah, let's go and check again. Okay, so the full name here, I'll check was not available. This was not available. The job ID is this. Okay, software engineer. So he didn't give a score in this particular instance. He didn't give a score. So let's see why. Let's go back into n8n and see why. So score of 3. Okay. So I actually gave a score, but the score was not appended into our sheets, right? So let's see what happened. Consult the resume database to confirm candidate ID trends before internal score. Okay. All right. So I mean, before I even change, let me just increase the reasoning model first. Let's see. Because sometimes if these things don't behave well, most times, I mean, sometimes it can be the point. It can be that sort of truth. Mostly times, or most times rather, is that the prompt or your reasoning model, right? I don't think so. I've checked the particular tool itself. I don't think there's anything here that should not have made it do that correctly. So everything here looks pretty solid, right? So that means is that the prompt or the reasoning model. So let's run it again. Now. So we were using GPT-4 before, but now we are using 54.1. So let's see. 30% fits. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so you can see now, and just like that, we are having the correct, sometimes, like I said, might usually be the prompt or the reasoning model, right? So now, before we were having not available, and Kaji Tidy was giving consults and this, and job ID was giving consulting, which is wrong because the job ID as contained in the job posting is this. This is the accurate job ID. Sorry, this is the accurate job ID, right? So I mean, it was doing something else before, but now it's doing, I mean, it has accurately retrieved that now software engineer. Like, it gave this person a score of 2 and next said person not qualified. So let's see why they just said that. So after the recent graduate with the BSc in IT, meeting the educational requirement, okay? However, their experience is limited to an internship with basic development and testing tasks, lacking the 3+ years of software development experience required. The technical skills are also at the beginner level with only basic knowledge of Python, JavaScript, and Git. There's no mention of proficiency in modern frameworks or advanced programming tasks. Overall, the candidate shows potential for a junior or entry. You can see. So it's not even just saying he's not qualified. It's like giving, okay, see, these are like, okay, this person might fit better into this particular role. It doesn't fit into this current role, but I mean, so it might be another opening within the company that this person actually, actually fit into. And again, don't forget, this is the first iteration, right? This is the first, I mean, usually again, you don't build like this for clients, right? You test, you do serious amount of testing to, but for the very first time, it is doing very well. If I do see so myself, it's doing very, very well. So let's just be sure, right? Let's be sure. I mean, let's see whether the agent was actually saying all of this correctly. So let's see if that was correct. So, junior developer with foundational experience in web technologies, okay. Familiar with basic programming concepts and team collaboration practices. So the skills, basic Python, understanding of web fundamentals, beginner Git rather. So you can see, so the person doesn't even have any relevant work experience yet, which the agent picked up. Person has basic skills which the agent also accurately picked up. So you can see by and by the agent is working fine. And yeah, so basically this is the end of the workflow, right? Again, usually, and you can see something like this, just imagine the amount of burden this thing has literally lifted off someone's shoulder, right? So imagine we are having 1,000 entries. Imagine the amount of time. And again, this round within just, I don't know, was it up to a minute? It's not even up to a minute, right? Each submission was being analyzed within less than a minute. So this is saving a lot of stress. So you can just come and look at, okay, see, where are my highly qualified where are my highly qualified candidates, right? I can just move on to interview them. And again, the idea of workflows, I love to do workflows that are very scalable. So this you can also like, okay, see, for those that are highly qualified, let's send them an email. You can also like add that to this particular workflow. So this is like very streamlined, very efficient, just very easy, right? Which again, I mean, I'm at the point where I love to like do things in a very simple way. I feel like that's like what even shows true mastery, right? Not building very complex, making things very complex or larger than life. The ability to make things very simple. I mean, my own philosophy is mastery is in your ability is exuded in your ability to make things simple, right? How simple can you make something is also largely depending on how truly you really, really mastered it, right? So yeah, this is just very simple, and again, these are saved. I mean, this is a kind of imagine amount of stress it's going to save someone. So if you want something like this, right, in your recruitment agents or your HR staff or HR personnel, and you love for me to do something like this for you, again to make it again, these are very, very scalable, right? So if you want to like again, we can just we want it very to customize a particular taste or particular style. I can definitely do that for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have any questions, drop it in the comments. And please, I really appreciate everyone that is liking, subscribing, and sharing, my videos. So if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you found these videos very valuable, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel and giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps me. I'm never going to lie. You subscribing, you liking this video gives me, I mean, just that needed push, right? Okay, I mean, people actually finding value in this content and I'm just wasting my time with it. So I really appreciate you subscribing and liking. And again, if you want something like this or any other custom AI solution, I'll be happy to indulge you. So just let's have a chat and yeah, we can continue from there. Till next time, I'm Damola and yeah, the Damola experience. Bye.